So you want to be the smoothest in the room. You want to be a smooth criminal. You want to be able to dramatically lean forward, wowing and dazzling those around you. Maybe wear a white suit. Maybe wear a clean white fedora that sits low so your eyes are partially unseen. Are you wondering if Annie is okay? We're all still wondering. It's been years now. Annie, if you're out there watching, hope you're okay. Today's video is all about tea. We are continuing with our fragrance families and ingredients series, which has been so much fun to put together for you guys. I love diving a little bit deeper into the ingredients, the constituents that make our favorite fragrances smell the way that they do and affect us in the way that they do. If this is your first time seeing this series, check out the rest of the playlist. There's probably almost 20 videos in the series at this point. We'll probably keep it going as long as you guys want to keep seeing videos like this. So again, we're talking about tea today, and tea I think is pretty self-explanatory. I think a lot of us have experience interfacing with tea in the real world, whether it's drinking or smelling it. And I know there's lots of different types of tea out there. We're keeping it simple. There is kind of this generic tea note that is often used in fragrances, and that's what I'm going off of here. But to put it simply, tea is kind of this sweet, calming, smooth, herbaceous note. That's kind of it. You know it when you smell it. It does lend a calming and relaxing vibe to most fragrances. You'll often find it at the heart of the fragrance, smoothing things out, making it soft, not necessarily weak though, and something that's very easy to be next to. Maybe not the most alluring note, but a very interesting one. So as we typically do, I have 9 fragrances split up into 3 categories of accessibility. First one being starting. You're just starting out. Maybe you want to learn more about tea. Welcome to the video. Intrigued? You've been around the fragrance community for a little bit. You've mainly been delving with mainstream, mass appealing fragrances. You want to start dipping your toe into more interesting stuff that is going to resonate with you and capture your interest. And then we have the enthusiast tier. You're not new here. You're constantly seeking new olfactory experiences, looking for stuff to continually inspire your passion for this amazing art form and hobby. And I got 3 fragrances for you to check out. With all that out the way, let's dive right into it. We have one honorable mention that we need to mention. This is a discontinued fragrance. To be honest, it's a beautiful fragrance, but it is not worth running out and paying the crazy prices you will find it for on eBay. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Beautiful, but it's only priced as high as it is because it's rare. But it's Gucci Pour Homme 2. This is a beautiful, warm, spicy cinnamon, but fresh violet leaf and calming tea fragrance. Such a unique signature fragrance from the mind of Tom Ford when he was creative director at Gucci. I don't have it, but I do have a really good clone of it that we are going to mention here right now. In our starting level, first up here is Imbue from Parfums Vintage. This is a clone of Gucci Pour Homme 2, and to be honest with you, even though I'm not a big clone guy at all, don't really care for them, this is when I can respect cloning, taking a fragrance that is otherwise almost impossible to get and bringing it back to market in a way that is really, really close to what it was, if not a little bit more refined in some ways. This is a very close version. It's very smooth, and it's also even a little bit stronger than the original was, but still retains that nuance and that elegance that the original had. Very calming, very soothing, but gentlemanly. It is a pour homme fragrance after all, and it works for any occasion if you love it, if you want to smell a little different. That is Parfums Vintage Imbue. Even down to the name, this fragrance represents calmness, relaxation, serenity, solace, peace. Bvlgari Man Rain Essence. Bvlgari strove to capture the vitality and beauty of rain in a fragrance. The ad campaign is appropriate, but a little bit corny, but it makes sense. I don't think I would do it any better, to be honest, but this is cooling fresh. Oh man. Woody, musky. It's like this white fuzzy musk with this dry woods behind it. There is this cooling watery freshness by way of lotus flower, and that tea in there just envelops the entire scent. A little bit sweet, but just a little bit, and very, very calming. A great, easy to wear scent that is honestly not terribly generic. I would throw this on just to wear for maybe, 4 or 5 hours if I'm going out on a hot day and I just want to smell calming, relaxing, and put together just for a little bit. This is perfect for that. That is Bvlgari Man Rain Essence. I don't know how easy this one is to get out there, but this is a beautiful tea fragrance. It does kind of sit around the idea of chamomile tea. With lemon from Guerlain, we have Teazzura. This is from their Aqua Allegoria line. This is a soft, fuzzy, cottony, musky tea with a little bit of a lemon zing to it. The texture of it is so peculiar. Again, it's like cotton. There's this thickness to it, but there's also this light quality to it. It is kind of light and fluffy in a way, musky, so calming. It does kind of smell like chamomile tea if you're familiar with it. A little bit specific, but I love fragrances with personality. It is also unisex, but some might find it a little feminine. That's Guerlain Teazzura. Into our intrigued tier, you're becoming more interested in more interesting things. To be honest, this fragrance is super hyped. Some might say that takes away from its interest, but I think in and of itself, it's still a wonderful fragrance. It is a relatively unique concoction that anyone can wear. And not only is it calming, but it's also kind of sexy. This is from BDK. It's called Gris Charnel. And this does center around fig tea, cardamom, sandalwood. There's almost this tropical fruity quality, but it is tamed by the tea. The tea kind of keeps it calmed down so it doesn't come off as too beachy. There's this creamy but also dusty sandalwood base, and the cardamom in here is what gives it that sexy edge. It is a fresh spiciness that adds a touch of sweetness that captures the attention of people in the air. Perfectly unisex. Great performance if you're looking for that. And I know there are some guys who do find this maybe a little bit feminine, a little soft. If that is the case, then I recommend you check out the extrait version, which kind of makes the scent profile of the original a little bit more bottom heavy. More emphasis on the base notes, that sandalwood, maybe a little bit of vanilla or something like that. It's dustier and darker. It's less fresh, but you still get that tea right there in the center, keeping things round, smooth, and calming. And that fig is still there too, but this is nowhere near as tropical smelling. It does smell more appropriate for the evening, and that cardamom still is in there, giving it a sexy face. That is Gris Charnel Extrait. I love to wear this fragrance for the fall time. It is relatively simple, but it's also a little bit different. From L'Orchestre Parfum, this is called Thé d'Arboukia. And Thé, you see it as T-H-E. It looks like the, if you're American or you speak English, but it actually is tea. The funny thing is that the tea is an imaginary note, at least so they claim. They don't list it in the note breakdown, and in the description of the scent, they say an imaginary tea. They could have thrown it in there just because they needed a tea ingredient, and they are following the marketing of the scent by saying there is no tea. I don't know. Either way, it does kind of smell like tea. There is a warm, balsamic, but kind of dusty, chocolatey cacao. It's dark, but not brooding. It does have a relaxing air to it. It does have an alluring air to it. Something that's confident, but cozy. It is something that draws you in. It all kind of congeals into one. It doesn't change a whole lot on my skin. Again, relatively simple, but the overall picture is beautiful and easy to get next to and surprisingly potent. So if you like the idea of a calming, sweet tea covered in powdery, dusty, chocolatey cacao with a little bit of this balsamic dampness kind of filling out the scent, this is one to check out. That is Thé d'Arboukia from L'Orchestre Parfum. And we're into our enthusiast tier. These are not the most challenging fragrances. That's not necessarily the point. The point is that they are interesting and different, and they don't really smell like anything else out there. Now, this fragrance did inspire a lot of other fragrances, and it is nothing new. I would have included it as an honorable mention, but it is a special scent, even though it's been around a while and it is talked about a lot. We have to give credit where it's due. Creed Silver Mountain Water. Yeah, you can talk all the trash you want about, well, it's not worth it, it doesn't last. That's fine. I'm not going to fight you on that. I'm not going to say that, no, it is worth it, you need to go buy it. I'm saying that the legacy of this fragrance is undeniable. It's a beautiful, cooling, fresh mountain air scent, almost alpine smelling, with this very calming tea mixing with bergamot, some juicy black currant that is not overly sweet, some musk. It is icy smelling. It perfectly smells the way that the bottle represents it. And yes, you might get 4 or 5 hours out of it. I find it to be a very functional wear. I wear this when I just need a few hours out during the day, kind of like what I would do with Bvlgari Man Rain Essence. I don't need it for all day. I might put on something else later. You can easily find this discounted, so I don't even really consider the retail price of a full bottle. I know it keeps going up. It's absurd, but you don't have to pay that if you want this. Regardless, sample first if you haven't tried it. But let me know what you think of Silver Mountain Water. I'm sure most of you have already checked it out. This is a weird one. Honestly, it's one that took some growing on me and it's still kind of growing on me. I haven't worn it in a little while. I will be revisiting it maybe in the later summer, this fall. I'm not really feeling like wearing it right now, but it's a very intriguing scent from Hermes. This is not a mainstream fragrance if you're asking me, even though it's from a designer brand. This is called L'Ombre des Merveilles. I think Shadow of Marvels or Shadow of Wonders, something like that. This is a beautiful and again, very interesting scent. Wow. Honestly, it gets more beautiful every time I smell it. When you look at the note breakdown, all you're going to see is tea, incense, and tonka bean. I get those three elements. Those are like the landmark elements, but there's more filling out the gaps here. There is this almost fruity-like quality, like a red berry or blueberry or something kind of fruity but tart all at the same time, a little bit sweet. There is this almost soapy freshness to it, not in like the rub-a-dub-dub kind of sense, but more in the like sea foam. I feel like I'm walking along the shoreline on a beach at night, sky full of stars. There is this cooling breeze. I can kind of feel the cooling nature of the sea foam washing up on the shore, a little bit of sweetness in the air. It's calm, beautiful, but also a little bit enigmatic. There's an air of mystery here. Beautiful stuff. If you want to take the plunge, check it out. L'Ombre des Merveilles. I'm gonna have links down below. And finally, from the house of Masque Milano, one of my favorite fragrances in my collection. That doesn't mean I wear it all the time. It is a little bit particular for me, but because I'm an enthusiast, I love scent. Even if I'm not wearing it functionally, I'm enjoying it just olfactorily. Just go with it. This is called Russian Tea from Masque Milano. This is a very transportive fragrance. It paints a picture, beautifully composed by Julien Rascanet, and it literally smells like a cup of black tea spiced with black pepper with a little bit of mint and raspberry and a touch of honey. You get a little bit of a smoky quality in there, but it's a cooling smoke mixing with that mint, a little bit of that bitter sweet raspberry, honey, adding a bit more of a sweetness to it, and again, it's a little spicy. It's black tea on a table in front of a window looking at the snow outside. Beautiful stuff, but surprisingly powerful. You don't need to spray much. Great for fall and winter. That is Masque Milano Russian Tea. Well, that's another one, guys. I want to know what you think of these fragrances. If you've tried them, let me know down in the comments. And if you have not tried them, there's going to be links in the description to check each one of them out. Get a sample if you can. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.